Hello guys, it's November 19th, 2019. We have a 4-game NBA slate for this Tuesday. Lock is an hour later. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So starting off, we have these 4 games and there are 3 teams on a back-to-back. So the Blazers played the Rockets last night, and then the Suns played the Celtics and the Thunder played the Clippers. So there's no travel for the Thunder, but they are just on a back-to-back. So there could be potentially some rest news from these 3 teams. Ricky Rubio was out for Monday night's game, so possibly that he also misses Tuesday game because of the back injury, but we'll have to wait and see. But mostly pretty much the injuries are going to be coming from the Pelicans, so we're going to have to watch that. And it's a good thing that lock is at 5, and they're going to be one of the first games to tip off, so we should know all the injuries by then. So at point guard, I think Damian Lillard, 9.2K, is going to be one of my top plays. He burned me on Monday's slate. I had a really good lineup, but Lillard and Tristan Thompson just didn't play well. Lillard was one of my favorite plays because of low ownership. But I think today I'm going to go right back to it because his price is up now. And after a bad performance and also just how kind of like a little bit passive, I guess you can say, but really, we know that Lillard, when he's on, he's going to take a lot of shots. And CJ McCollum's been playing pretty well. And Damian Lillard will definitely be able to defer a little bit when that's the case. So Lillard here against the Pelicans in a very fast-paced matchup. And the Pelicans have given up a whole lot of points to opposing point guards. So even on a back-to-back, the Pelicans, they're going to be playing at home. So that should help keep this game close if they are still hammered by injuries. So Lillard's price is a little bit up, but even on the back-to-back, I think this is a terrific spot for Lillard. Next, Drew Holiday, 8.8K. I'm going to like him a whole lot if Brandon Ingram remains out and also if Lonzo's out. If one of them were to return, then it definitely takes a hit to Holiday's shots, scoring, and assists. And then at that point, I think he's still much in play, but definitely not going to be a core play then. But without them, I think he's going to be definitely a core play. Lillard Holiday together in the same lineup, I think makes sense. You just run it back. And Holiday, we've seen the minutes have been really consistent. As long as he's knocking down shots, he's going to be taking a whole lot of them without a lot of these starters. So Holiday's a guy that has just a lot of fantasy-friendly scoring opportunities because he does a little bit of everything. So 8.8K prices come up, but still really good play. Next, probably a low-owned play. John Morant, 6.7K against the Warriors. We know the Warriors are not good defensively against any position, but specifically point guards and centers, we like to target them. And Ja, he's been playing pretty well recently. Last game was a blowout, so he didn't play his usual amount of minutes. But he's had some really solid games. He's 6.7K. The price is okay, not like a bargain, but if he were to play 30 minutes, this game stays close. He's playing at home where we've seen him have some of his bigger games. This is the right matchup, and he's probably not going to be a popular play with everyone going with a little bit more expensive options at point guard, so I like him. And then Lonzo, 5.4K. If he were to return without any restriction, I do have some interest there. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 4.9K. If Frank Jackson remains out, he's probably going to get his usual high 20s, low 30s in minutes. At that point, then I'm going to really like him because he's a guy that definitely is able to do a whole lot of everything, and also he takes a whole lot of threes. And on a side of DraftKings with the bonus, that definitely helps. 4.9K price is up, but he's still a little bit too cheap if all those injuries are going to be there. Dennis Schroeder, 4.8K. He's on a back-to-back against the Lakers, but even in a tough matchup, the Lakers have been very good defensively. Schroeder's price is now down, and he's a guy that if he's playing well, he'll definitely close games. He has a pretty low floor because some of these games that you see, he just doesn't shoot well, and when he doesn't shoot well, that's why we see kind of these really low teens DraftKings scoring. But on a back-to-back, there's maybe like a small chance that Chris Paul rests, but I feel like even without knowing that, Schroeder, 4.8K, the prices have come down a lot, so he's worth a tournament shot regardless. And then Kai Bowman's price is a little bit up. but I think there's still definitely some interest there. Possibly he could start now because of how great of a game he played last time. Rajon Rondo, though, 4.5K, he's not going to be on a minute restriction anymore. So we probably will see him around the mid 20s in minutes. I think that's about where we're going to see him. But the news actually came out today about Rondo, so there's a possibility that he can be inching towards the high 20s in minutes. And in that case, 4,500, I think he's very much in play. He's a guy that we've seen get triple doubles. He has that kind of upside. Probably not this year on this kind of Lakers team, but still he's going to be able to contribute a whole lot of categories. He'll come in the first quarter, kind of mid to late first quarter, and he's going to handle the ball when LeBron gets a rest, and then LeBron comes back, they'll play together. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because we've seen how great of a player LeBron can be off the ball. So with his drives and alley-oop potentials, Rondo can definitely get some easy assists that way. And then looking farther down, I think Frank Jackson, currently listed as questionable. If the news comes out a little bit late, I think that actually will help because Frank Jackson, if he's not on a minutes restriction, which I don't think he should be if he's able to play, 3.8K, he's going to probably see 20s in minutes, I would say, because Alexander Walker's been playing really well. But he's a guy that we've seen be able to play really well. And if all those guys are still going to be out, he returns, he probably plays 20s in minutes. And sometimes he has very good shooting games. He will get a little bit of rebounds and assists, not a really big contributor in those categories, but he's 3,800, so he's much cheaper than a lot of the other Pelicans players. And with Rubio out, Tyler Johnson and Javon Carter split the point guard minutes on Monday's game, and I think that could definitely be the case. Again here, if Rubio were to miss, Carter is the one that starts because they like his defense more, and I don't think that it's like a lock if this game's close that Carter would finish. Tyler Johnson could potentially finish if he's got the hot hands, but they're splitting minutes. Carter's the starter, and he's cheaper, so at the minimum, that definitely has me interested because of the matchup. The pace is going to be really fast, and so I think Carter makes for a good cash play if Rubio is out. Moving on to shooting guard, Devin Booker is in play, 8.4K if Ricky Rubio were to miss. That probably means more assists for Booker and just more scoring, shots, everything. And this is definitely a very good matchup. So Booker 8.4K, gonna be pretty low owned because of Holiday and Lillard, but I think he's definitely a very good tournament play if that's the case. Buddy Hield is a guy that went off last game, but I think this is not the spot for him because the Suns are pretty good defensively this season, and especially against the three, they've actually given up the fourth least threes in the entire league. So with a guy like Buddy's skill set, he takes a whole lot of threes, double-digit threes in a lot of his games. I think this is a spot to fade because his price is also a bit high. Same thing with Bogdanovic, even though he has an assist for, his price is kind of up there now. JJ Redick, 5,100. If Ingram were to miss, I think he's going to be in play because of the shots and how much they're going to need at scoring. But with Redick and also Etuan Moore, I'm going to talk about them together, 4.6K. They both are pretty shooting dependent. They're dependent on threes, and if you look at their game logs, they've had some really good matchups. Redick, we know his role. He's always going to be a guy that is just a sharpshooter. And his minutes are going to be there if all these injuries are still going to be there. But matchups against like the Hornets, the Rockets, the Clippers, the Warriors, a lot of these teams are bottom 5 in 3-point defense, just the amount of threes that they give up. But if you look at the Blazers, they've actually given up the 6 least threes. And so there's definitely something to fade there. If Ingram were to return, I probably don't want to play JJ Redick because I think his ownership could be high. But this is a tougher matchup, and if Ingram were to return, his minutes probably aren't going to be that high, and also his shots aren't going to be that many. So with his price a little bit up now, 5K, he doesn't really do a whole lot in other categories. I think it's worth a fade if Ingram were to return and some of these other guys. And same thing goes for Etuan Moore. Alec Burks, though, 5K, I think he's interesting. He didn't have a good game last time, but his minutes are going to be there, and he just shot really bad last game. So if he just makes a couple more shots, he's definitely at 5x then. And this matchup against Memphis is similar because they both are very fast-paced teams that defensively aren't that great. So if Burks is going to continue to play 30 plus minutes, which he should be because D'Lo and all these other Warriors are out, someone has to take shots, and I think Alec Burks is going to definitely be able to have more success than 2 for 13. So 5K, I like that. And going down here, Dillon Brooks 4.5K is interesting because he gets a match against the Warriors, and we know how bad they are defensively. Last game was a blowout, so I'm going to throw that out. But there have been some games where Brooks has very solid performances. There's some games that he just gets a nice amount of rebounds and defensive stats. So if he's able to shoot well and shoot or take a lot of shots, I think 4.5K is a little bit too cheap here just because of the matchup. More of a tournament play though, but I think he's a pretty good one. And moving on to small forward now. LeBron 11.1K. He's gonna be, he is the lone spend up here. I think if you can get to him, then you do. But for right now, he's not gonna be a priority play. If value opens up, then definitely he's gonna be a lot more in play. But we've seen games where LeBron, just fantasy wise, he kind of doesn't do a whole lot. Obviously, this is the king, so he has just about much as upside as anybody. But his price is now into the 11Ks, and the Thunder have been pretty nice defensively overall. And with Rondo playing full minutes, that could lead to a little bit of a decrease in assists for LeBron. But really, it's just also the Thunder on a back-to-back, and with some old guys like Chris Paul on the team, there's a little bit of blowout potential, I would say. But again, I don't want to fade a player because of blowouts. But I just feel like LeBron, for me at least, this isn't like a lock for now. Moving on, Brandon Ingram, 7.2K, gonna be very much in play if he's able to return without any restrictions. He's gonna be one of my top plays actually, if that's the case, because 7.2K for the Pelicans, they really need his scoring, and he's probably gonna take a whole lot of shots. So that price is gonna be really too cheap. Kelly Oubre 6.4K is more of a play if Rubio's out. He had one good game against the Hawks, and now his price is all the way up to 6,400, so not gonna be a priority. Jay Crowder 5.2K. He's another guy kind of like Dillon Brooks. There are some games where he just rebounds well. He just takes more shots. And if he shoots well, he's a guy that can defend, so he can contribute there. But I think I prefer Dillon Brooks just because he is cheaper, and Brooks is more of a shot taker than Crowder is. So both again though tournament plays. On to power forward. Anthony Davis has been playing hurt, and it seems like it's affecting him. So 9.8K, his price is a little bit up now. Still, it's Anthony Davis. He can get you a whole lot of fantasy points because he is such a good defender, so he contributes defensively every game. Rebounds are definitely going to be way higher, and he's a pretty good passer, and we know what kind of scorer he is. But in this matchup, I feel like it probably isn't the best for AD because he is hurt too. And I think I'd just rather save a little bit or go up to LeBron. Lillard, Drew, I think are the better plays because you can save a little bit from AD. And I think right now the upside is a little bit closer than it should be because of AD's injury. But still, it's Anthony Davis. So if you want to take a tournament shot, go ahead. But he's not going to be really popular, so that's what makes him a good play. But I just prefer other guys. Eric Pascal, 5.9K in play because, again, the Warriors are very injured. And Pascal is a guy that has played really well. And he's playing pretty heavy minutes. He's starting now. And he's a guy that's going to take a whole lot of shots. He's a really good rebounder. He'll take a little bit of threes. So he can definitely contribute in a lot of ways. In the matchup against Memphis, it's not the best, but the pace, the environment, though, it's a really solid one. So Pascal, even though at 5.9K, price is up, but still, I like him. And same thing with Jaren Jackson in the same game against the Warriors. He's a guy that has a lot of upside as well if his minutes are going to be there. And we've seen him play some big minutes if he's playing well. So he's very much in play as well. He's a guy that can get you defensive stats. He is a pretty solid three-point shooter as well recently, and his rebounding is also a very nice contributing factor to his fantasy scoring. And then Nicola Melli, 4.4K. Again, if all these guys are out, and it seems like they are, especially the bigs like Derek Favors, who's already been rolled out, and then Jaleel Okafor, I believe, is doubtful right now. But Melli, he's a guy that's going to play mostly power forward, but he'll play a little bit of backup center as well. And that's not going to really be good defensively for them, but offensively, he's a stretch big. He's been playing really well actually, like his shooting, and that's what gets you there. And if he's playing upper 20s, low 30s in minutes, which he probably should because all these big men are going to be still out, he should be able to get you there at 4.4K. And then lastly on the center, Jonas Valanciunas, 6.8K. I was really intrigued when I saw this match against the Warriors, but his price is a little bit higher to my than my liking. But still 6.8K, he's a guy that has a whole lot of upside. He has 50-point upside, and in close games, he like against Utah, that it was Rudy Gobert, and the Warriors they don't have like the same center presence, but he should be able to get close to 30 minutes, and if that's the case, he's a very capable fantasy producer. So 6.8K, I think he definitely put up like a double-double against the Warriors. Willie Cauley-Stein was a target that all of us like to target when he was with the Kings last season. But I think I'd rather play Hassan Whiteside 6.3K because the Pelicans, they play so fast, and Jackson Hayes is going to be the starting center most likely for this game, and he's a rookie, and Whiteside's just going to be able to handle him pretty well, in my opinion. As long as he gets his minutes, and his minutes have looked a lot better. As long as he stays out of foul trouble, I think this is going to be an easy double-double for Hassan Whiteside. His price just seems way too low right now. I think with kind of the playing time that he's been receiving recently, he should definitely be more expensive than Valanciunas. So Whiteside's definitely more of a cash play, more popular, and I think I like him a lot more than Valanciunas. But for tournaments, with the kind of foul trouble that Whiteside can get into, I think a pivot is definitely an option. Looking down, Aaron Baines 4.9K against the Kings. The Kings, looking right now so far this season, they've actually been pretty solid against opposing centers, but Aaron Baines against the Kings in such a fast-paced environment, he's been getting into foul trouble a whole lot, so that's why his minutes have been down. But he's a guy that does a little bit of everything, and his price is going down right now, 4.9K, but the matchup is really solid. Even on a back-to-back, he's a guy that we've seen him get into the 30s a lot of games this season. So 4.9K is going to be too cheap if he's going to be able to play his minutes, stay out of foul trouble just in this matchup. And then last place is going to be Jackson Hayes, 4.9K as well. I think if Hayes were to start this game, he's going to be more popular than Baines. And there's definitely foul trouble risk with Hayes as well, because of Hassan Whiteside, because he's just so big, so strong. And also Hayes is a rookie, so he doesn't have like the respect that refs usually give to some of the veterans. But I think Hayes is very much in play because of the minutes that he's going to get if everyone's out. And 32 minutes is probably going to be where we're going to see him get the minutes that he's going to get if Favors and Okafor are going to remain out. So I like Jackson Hayes a whole lot. I think for cash, I'd rather play Hayes. For GPPs, I'd go with Baines. So overall in this slate, my favorite plays are Dame and Drew. And then I think Whiteside's going to be right there as well. These three are my favorite plays. I think if all the bigs, the Pelicans, if a lot of those injuries are still the same, like if we just take a look at like where the injuries were last against the Pelicans, I think guys like Alexander Walker going to be very much in play, and like Nicola Melli, Jackson Hayes as well. But I feel like there's a possibility that some of them return, and if that's the case, then I'm probably not going to be playing a whole lot of these Pelicans value guys. So for now, I think these three are going to be where I go with a lot of my lineups. So these are my favorite picks for this slate. So if you guys enjoy the video, please leave a like down below. Also, please subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. If you have any questions on the slate or anything in DFS in general, basketball, I just want to talk about it, you can leave a comment in down below in the video. Or also you can find my Twitter app, all follows in the description below. You can message me on there, at me, or DM me. So again, thank you guys for watching and good luck on this slate.